news coming in from across the border. And this is a CNN News 18 exclusive. What we are now picking up by the means of sources, courtesy our investigations editor Manoj Gupta, we are now understanding that there is possibly going to be a big paradigm shift as far as Pakistan is concerned. Now, you would remember that Pakistan continues to face really bad floods and torrential rain. Now, top sources within the military establishment in Pakistan are now telling us this, that there is a possibility of trade ties resuming between both the countries. We're also now understanding that Pakistan's finance minister is extremely keen as far as the resumption of trade is concerned, simply because Pakistan continues to be in a really bad economic position. Not just the floods, but courtesy how the economy actually has been doing. Remember, there has been a change of regime as well. So is this really the right time? Is this actually a possibility? And what is going to be the response as far as India is concerned? Geopolitical analyst Pathikrit Payne now joining us on the broadcast. Pathikrit, good to have you on the broadcast with us. How do you read what we're picking up by the means of sources, that Pakistan is extremely desperate, wanting to resume trade with India? Floods, torrential rains, and already a crippling economy. What are the options with them?
Ridhima, first of all, I think it's more of a desperate attempt and compulsion rather than a fundamental paradigm shift, because Pakistan as a state has not given up of its use of terrorism as an instrument of statecraft. Even now, you see, in the borders, they have hundreds of terrorists, waiting to just cross and come into India and wreak havoc. They have been consistently using drones to push weapons inside India. There is a Pakistani hand always in instigation in social media, so far as all kinds of protest are concerned. And they have been using social media and messenger apps for radicalization of youth in this country. So frankly speaking, Pakistan is doing it because of its political and economic compulsions and security compulsions as well. Today, the situation of Pakistan is such that even if Israel gives them aid, they will take it. But it's like Pakistan is like, trying to be like the wolf in the sheep's skin. The moment things will become a little better, they will just go back into their own way. Secondly, there has always been this apprehension, and there are enough evidence of it, that once the trade starts, when there was this trade, the cross-border trade, they use the trade route to actually smuggle inside India narcotics and fake currencies. And to a great extent in Kashmir, government of India has been able to control that. If trade against resumes, God forbid, then we will have this problem all over again. So I don't know what the government of India's policy will be, but we should be very careful. India has nothing to gain out of it.
True.
Pakistan is, doing it because they are in huge problem.
So you're saying this is just a desperate move, but the intent really hasn't changed as far as Pakistan is concerned. Pathikrit, what I also want to understand, just look at some of the numbers that we're picking up as well. What we're understanding, because of floods, torrential rains and other, almost $10 billion have been washed off because of the loss that they've seen as far as crops and other is concerned. As far as the SCO meet is concerned, do you actually see some movement happening before that?
They might try to use the overtures and, improve relation with India, because I think they have a huge threat coming from Tehrik-e-Taliban on the other side as well. Number one is that. Number two, because they have a severe foreign exchange reserve crisis, and China is no way actually helping them out beyond a point. So they would try to have a rupee trade with India. That is probably their preferred option. That's the reason they want this to happen. But otherwise, they might also try to show in SCO that, okay, we are trying to improve relation with India, but it is India which is not willing to do so. They will not talk about terrorism. Pakistan will not talk about what they do in terms of terrorism, but that is the kind of image that they will try to project, so that they actually remain, so that they will try to remain in the good book of Financial Action Task Force. But in the reality, I think we all know what it is, and every day we actually remain under the apprehension and of a terror attack being orchestrated from Pakistan. And good that Indian security agencies have been able to thwart most of the time. But, we know what Pakistan is doing. So we have to be very careful about what their intentions are in reality are.
Okay, Pathikrit, we'll leave the conversation there. We'll really have to see how this plays out.